This video is sponsored by Fanta Premier. Get team lineups, live scores, injury updates, FPL stats, and even create leagues to compete with your friends online, all in one place. Download it for free on Android and iOS using the link in the description.
Warning, the player selections you're about to see may flop miserably. FPL TV cannot be held responsible for any of your own transfer shockers. Please, FPL responsibly.
Hey guys, and welcome back to the Point Predictor, the series where I pick 5 players that I think will score 4 points or more in the upcoming FPL Gameweek. Within these predictions, I can only select one player per club, and I must follow the categories shown on screen. Before looking at my predictions for Game Week 17, let's check how my choices from Game Week 16 performed. So another 2 from 5 correct predictions last time out. It started out well, with me correctly predicting a clean sheet for Arsenal, and the in-form Anderson racked up a massive 12-point haul. But Harry Kane's benching was a big surprise, as was Man City's 2-0 defeat to Chelsea, with Raheem Sterling therefore blanking. So let's move on to Game Week 17 now, and see which players I think could be in the points for this weekend's fixtures. And if you're enjoying the Point Predictor series, then please help support the channel by dropping a like and getting subscribed to FPL TV. My defensive pick this week goes to Watford's Holebas. This is definitely a defensive choice based mostly on the opponent, with Cardiff statistically being the worst attacking outfit away from home this season. In 7 games on the road, the Bluebirds have only managed to score 3 goals so far, and they've also produced the least goal attempts of any team away from home. What's also interesting is that of the 3 away goals Cardiff have scored, 2 of them have been from set pieces. And this season, Watford rank as one of the best teams in terms of conceding very few set piece goal attempts. So the stats really couple up nicely here. Speaking of set pieces, Cardiff on the other hand have conceded one of the highest amounts of set play goal attempts. So this also increases the appeal of Holebas this game week, as he often boasts free kicks and corners in his armoury. My budget midfielder, below the price of 8 million, goes to Anderson for a second consecutive game week. This was tricky this game week, not in terms of a budget midfielder, but simply on which player to pick from the Fulham against West Ham game this weekend. The two sides have kept a combined total of 2 clean sheets in 32 games this season, a crazy stat. This suggests that there has to be goals in this one, so Schürrle, Sessegnon, Mitrovic, or Snodgrass, Chicharito and Anderson were all considerations to make it into the Point Predictor this week. I've sided with Anderson though, purely because he's been the most consistent over the last few game weeks. The Brazilian has now produced 5 goals and an assist in his last 6 appearances, racking up an incredible 48 points in the process. Granted, he may be away from home this week, but that doesn't seem to bother him either, having scored in both of his previous 2 road trips. Despite being under new management, Fulham have still failed to shut up shop, conceding 9 goals in the 4 games under Ranieri, leaving them without a clean sheet in all 16 games so far. My any priced midfielder this week is still close to the budget side of things, it's Tottenham's Son. Now, I do consider this a slightly risky choice, because I have read some suggestions that Son could be rested this game week. Personally though, I find this very hard to believe given the form he's in and the fact that he only played 70 minutes in midweek. Son Heung-min has been in superb form in recent weeks, with FPL returns in 4 consecutive game weeks now, returning 3 goals and 2 assists in that time. What's more is that his attacking stats have also been outstanding recently, because in those 4 game weeks, he boasts the most goal attempts and the most attempts inside the box of all midfielders in the league. He's also a player that loves playing at home, so with a Wembley fixture against Burnley next, you couldn't really ask for a better game for Son to continue this fine run. Of course, I'm not the manager, so please don't take my word for it, but if I had to guess, I'd say that he starts and should do well this game week. For my budget forward this week, my gut says Mitrovic, but having looked at the stats, I'll back the data instead and opt for Jimenez of Wolves. Among budget forwards, Jimenez currently sits top for goal attempts in the last 4 game weeks with 14. 11 of these have come inside the box, which is also promising and shows that his attempts aren't just hopeful long-range efforts. Jimenez faces Bournemouth in Game Week 17, a side in poor defensive form, without a clean sheet in 6 and conceding 14 goals in that time. During these 6 games, they've also conceded the most attempts inside the box with a whopping 72. So this bodes very nicely for Jimenez, who, as mentioned earlier, is getting a lot of chances inside the box of late. With Wolves starting to find form again, you'd have to fancy them scoring here, and with Jimenez getting rested in the previous game week, he should be fresh to get in amongst the points this weekend. And finally for this week's point predictor, it's Arsenal's Aubameyang. Unai Emery has been heavily experimenting with his squad since the beginning of the season, but as things stand, Aubameyang appears to be the main man up front for Arsenal. This was further cemented with the Gabonese striker being fully rested during Arsenal's Europa League game on Thursday. So as opposed to Lacazette, at least we know Aubameyang is guaranteed to start in this nice looking fixture against a struggling Southampton. In the last 6 game weeks, Southampton have conceded 16 goals, the league's worst record during that spell, without a clean sheet in any of those games. Arsenal, on the other hand, have scored a very impressive 18 goals in just 7 away games this season, so an average of 2.5 goals per game on the road. With a long list of defensive injuries to Arsenal, they may have to go all-out attack to win this one, and hopefully Auba can be involved in the action. So that wraps up Game Week 17's point predictor. On paper, I feel this looks a very strong lineup this game week, so hopefully they can deliver for me and of course for you guys at home. Let me know what you think of the choices, and as always, if you enjoyed the episode today, be sure to support the channel by getting subscribed. Good luck to all of you for Game Week 17, FPL responsibly, and I'll catch you all next week.